Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Brothers Grime podcast. And now, your hosts, Brandon and Randall Witherspoon. Enjoy the show.
We go balls to the wall.
Because we first attempted it was too official, and like the first recording that no one's ever heard is like it's just not that great because we didn't know what to do.
You're too serious.
Yeah, with the mic in front of us, we're like, so anyway,
like this dark room with like smoking cigarettes and a cup of black coffee, just like so.
How long have you been breathing oxygen? Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, exactly. I took up smoking for a brief moment there for a minute.
Yeah, why not? Life is too short.
Well, especially when you start smoking.
It's even shorter.
That's the key.
I mean, actually, eating a piece of bacon.
That's true. It's probably worse for you.
Cuts off more of your life than a cigarette does.
You're probably right.
Definitely worth it, though.
Well, I mean, it's bacon.
Come on.
It's like,
Yeah, sure.
bacon or pussy,
Yeah. Well, hey.
It is a pretty difficult decision to make.
Yeah. It's like, well.
Oh, and so if you guys are wondering who that strange voice is that you may hear, there's three of us in the room today.
There's three of us.
There's three of us today. The Brothers Grime featuring a very special guest, a childhood friend of ours that we've known our whole lives, essentially since I was 2 years old. This is William Baker, and we are super stoked to have you on the show, man. Thanks for coming.
Woo! Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So
back to this interview.
Yeah. Indeed. So you go ahead and lead off, and you can tell everybody a little bit about yourself, so they get to know you a little bit, and then we'll kick this thing off, man.
Well, I've known these fools all their lives. Hopefully for a little bit longer too.
Hopefully for a few more days. Anyway,
yeah,
right?
for a few more days, or at least what I would like to remember.
Indeed. So you moved over to Virginia from Arizona when you were very young, 2-3 years old.
Yep.
To live with your aunt and uncle.
Yep.
Two really awesome people.
Indeed.
And
can't thank them enough.
Absolutely. So you've been a lot of places in your life, man.
Yeah.
And
been across the country about 4 times.
Yep.
Some places I'd like to go back to, and other places like Kansas I can live without.
Yeah. So how was Kansas, by the way?
Flat.
Extremely flat.
Extremely flat.
Anything else about Kansas we should know?
No.
Okay. And you lived in California.
Yeah,
You lucky bastard, you.
Yep.
You were there for a few years, too, man. Huh?
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome.
About 5 years.
So
I was the only one out of you, me, and Mark.
Out of the whole high school group, dude. You're the only one who actually made it. I was
the only one who did it.
And stayed over there for a while.
Yeah. I got to work on a couple of farms.
That's cool, man. You were in Northern Cal, too, right?
Yeah. I was in
nice.
Humboldt.
So what was your favorite part about that area? What did you like best about that?
Probably the fact that the Redwood National Forest that was down the road from me was where they actually filmed the speeder scene, the speeder bike scene from Star Wars.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yep.
So that was mad close to where you were at.
Yeah, that was literally a 5-minute walk for me.
That's wild.
That's awesome, dude.
See the Ewoks out there?
Well,
I mean, maybe you did. I'm not saying they were there.
I mean,
what you see and what exists are two
perception
very
is
different
reality,
things.
I guess.
Well, I got caught by the ranger a couple of times.
Oh boy!
I bet that was an eventful time.
Yeah. When you're, when you got a girl on top of you, and then the ranger's doing a horseback like showing like he's like got like a tour. He's got like a tour going on, and like
That's
You're kidding me.
fantastic.
and
Oh, Lord.
no, I am
Oh
not.
my god!
Good
No,
night.
how could you make this shit up?
Yeah, that's incredible.
So we were in like the middle of a redwood tree, and he's like, "How you doing today, Mr. Baker?" And I'm like, "Doing good."
As you can see, I'm doing fantastic. Yeah.
Better than you, asshole.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that probably scarred some very young children that day. That was a rather family.
Family, very
Wouldn't be the
family
first time.
friendly.
Damn sure won't be the last.
Yeah,
my
fair enough.
friend.
I mean, it wouldn't be me if I didn't.
That's true. It's
Yep.
very on brand. Yeah, we
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Oh, Lord.
Yep. And so you made it back home.
Well, yeah, like I didn't really want to come back home, but
Yeah.
I had to because Dad, a couple of years ago, Dad had like a cancer scare.
Yeah. I remember.
So I didn't want to be, you know,
On the
thousands of
opposite side.
miles
Sure, yeah, the other-
away.
yeah, other
you
side
know,
of the country,
then you know
Of course.
something happened to him, so I
That makes
rushed
sense.
back home, and
The responsible thing to do, no doubt.
Admirable.
well, you know, gotta, you know, he took care of me, so
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
know,
You got to
that
pay
was-
him back.
That's
you
it.
know. And turns out, came home and he had surgery, and they removed the big, huge tumor that was like literally sitting on top of his balls.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
Like,
That's
so,
awful. My goodness. Wow.
so-
I'm glad they removed
Yeah.
it,
I mean,
obviously.
yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, like,
Wow.
like, what a way to go! Like, if
Yeah,
that was
true.
gonna
That
be
would
the
be
way
horrible.
to go, you
My
know,
gosh,
like
yeah.
ball cancer.
You're
Jesus.
right. Nobody
I'm
wants to
sure
die
that
of
was
that.
rough.
Like-
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you of all
Well, yeah,
people,
right.
you know.
Yeah, it wasn't of the testicles, but yeah, I have experienced the cancer situation.
fuck cancer, man.
Yeah, it's not fun, but hey,
Yeah.
we get through it thanks
Yeah.
to modern medicine.
Yeah. So your pop's Chrome, his biker name, right? He was a biker from way back in the day.
He was.
Who did he? His club. Who did he ride with again?
The pagans.
Pagans. That's
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Yep, I've seen pictures over there, man, in his shop. You know, of him and the whole chapter, right? Like, in all the, all
Well,
the-
that was Mother Club. Those
Mother
were the
Club.
guys that you didn't want to see.
Right.
Oh, Gotcha.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
You know, there was John in the picture, and
Right.
a couple of crazy Italian dudes. And he told me a story. What was it? What was the one guy's name? Head and Samson. They were brothers. They were Italian brothers, and they were the muscle.
Right.
boy.
You know,
The
of
enforcers.
The club. The
Mhm.
enforcers.
Gotcha.
The one held all the knives, and the other held all the drugs and guns. You
Nice.
know, and he would tell me crazy stories about partying out with them, and he said Head had a cat, and he would get the cat really stoned and
Naturally.
and pick the cat up and threw it in the wood stove.
Jesus Christ.
And
Lord.
Dad said that the cat, you could hear the cat
Oh my God.
winding up
dude.
in there, and I'm just like, oh my God,
This is
like
awful.
you know, that's a felony nowadays.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Like,
My
That's
God.
insane, man.
Wow.
I'm sure.
I mean, just crazy stories, and you know, Dad always talked about, like, you know, he hated 64 because he liked to starve to death because the Mustang came out. And
Right.
nobody wanted motorcycles anymore, so you know,
Right.
like he had to go to chrome plating everything, so
Right.
that's where he got his nickname, Chrome.
Ah.
from.
That's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, see, we're learning
I just thought
so
he
many
liked
new
liked
things.
chrome on his bikes. Well, I guess he did too.
I mean-
by default, he had to like it, right?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
so
right. Wow.
learned
That's
something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, man.
He's
I
a
would
very
love to get him on the
interesting character.
podcast one of these days, man.
Oh, we must.
I mean, yeah, no, we're gonna have to from y'all's place. We're gonna set up over there. We're gonna get you and Chrome on the podcast. That'll
Oh,
be a hell of a
yeah.
day. On like a Saturday morning, we'll just day drink and record. It'd be great.
You know?
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Sounds
there was
fantastic.
every time I've ever been over there's always interesting stuff. I remember for a while there was a freaking helicopter just chilling at your guys' house. You remember that
Still
shit?
is.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
No shit,
Yeah,
man.
it's for sale if you want to buy it.
I would maybe do that.
I was like, remember when they used to have that helicopter?
I thought
And
they
it's like,
sold it or something.
And I was like, how did he acquire it? Where do you meet someone who sells a helicopter, and how does that work? That's what I want to know. Or do you know the story? I don't know.
Way back before I was even a part of the picture of this family, Diane had sent Chrome out to Colorado to learn how to fly.
Okay.
And so he got to like hang out in Colorado for like a solid month, and he acquired his, pilot's license and everything like that.
That's crazy.
Then he came back home and bought a helicopter.
Hey, there you go.
I mean, it's
fantastic.
kind of simple.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
crazy, dude. You just don't know a lot of people with helicopters.
That's true.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that.
I
Not
mean,
every day.
I would imagine that's a very slim club.
I'll probably never own one as long as I live, unless I decide to buy that one up. Yeah,
that's true.
You can.
I would just kill myself in it in 2 seconds.
What a way to go, though,
I
right?
mean, well, I mean, you
blaze of
do that,
glory.
or you could buy the gyro. I mean,
Yeah.
the gyro's up for sale too.
Nice.
That's got a
man.
Volkswagen motor in it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
badass. That is cool. I could probably figure that one out,
Yeah, Dad says that's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Oh, there
I'm
you
just
go.
like,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
cool. And I'm like, so what's the difference between that and the helicopter? And he's like, well, the helicopter you have to fly straight.
No, there you
like,
go.
Right.
like the gyro, you can drive it like a car,
Gotcha.
pretty much.
Okay.
But like the helicopter, you're sitting there doing this, like
Right.
bobbing.
Oh,
pretty
sure,
much.
trying to maintain and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because you got to up force, down draft.
Right, you got all kinds of.
Yeah.
I hear you got like use your feet and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
and flying
that's
those
insane.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full body workout.
No,
apparently.
thank you.
Yeah.
But they're pretty cool, though. They're like agile, I mean, you can get those things into all kinds of crazy places
yeah.
and pick, rescue operations and stuff like that. They can,
Oh, yeah.
Down in the Grand Canyon or wherever, some, dense area, they can just maneuver those little dudes in there and drop a claw, man,
That's it.
Gone.
The claw.
The claw.
Claw's our master. You guys excited to see
around.
Toy Story 4, by the way? Speaking of the claw.
Is that out?
Oh, it's coming out next month.
Oh, yeah.
June 21st.
I'll have to catch
Man,
that.
I still haven't seen Captain Marvel yet.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen any of those, unfortunately, but
Dude, somebody posted a picture online of Willem Dafoe, like
Right.
painted up as Joker.
oh god,
And dude, he made he was
I think
a
I've seen
crazy
that.
looking
dude, he
Joker.
looks like the Joker without the makeup.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
I've seen that.
He
Yeah.
should do that, man.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix? Though,
Oh my
dude, it looks so good.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's,
tight,
that's
dude.
genius. Whoever thought of
Yes.
That's gonna be
Like,
good.
That
no,
looks
dude,
fantastic.
He lost like a solid like 80 pounds
that? Dude,
for
he's
that
mad
role.
skinny
like,
now. Yes.
like I don't know. I think it's gonna put like a new light on the Joker. Like I feel like it's gonna make you feel like sympathy
Yes.
for him,
Yes.
Right.
Because like he's like in the trailer, like he's like spinning a sign or whatever, and then like somebody comes up and steals it, and then
Smashes him with
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's
smashes
gonna,
him
it's,
with
it's not
it.
going to portray him as just this, psycho,
crazy psychopath for no
It's
reason,
going to give you
yeah.
a background. You're going to see the Joker from what it
Yeah,
appears.
well, I mean, it's not
Right.
going to be the Christopher Nolan
Right.
Joker,
Sure.
which, I mean, everybody can speculate that the Christopher Nolan Joker was like a ex, army or ex special forces or something like that,
Right,
because
yeah, that
he
makes
knew
sense.
all about guns and
Yeah, like that.
ammunition.
Well, that opening scene.
Yeah,
it's all,
exactly.
how it's orchestrated.
Yeah,
and
and
all
how
that.
he
yeah.
orchestrated everything. And,
That's true.
And plus, when you really go back and look at it, technically the Joker did more good in that movie than Batman did.
No, you're right.
He actually took down the mobsters.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's
he
true.
actually did everything that Batman was supposed to do.
That's
but
true.
Fucking lazy ass
Yeah,
Batman.
come on.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. Well, that's why at the end he pieced out. He was like,
he
"Screw
did.
it, here we
Yeah.
go."
Ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool, man. I'll be looking forward to seeing that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of Willem Dafoe,
It's gonna be good.
you've never heard this, Billy, but
Oh.
but this is something that we've all come to the realization of.
Yes.
So your brother-in-law, Rodney,
Mm-hmm.
is very similar to Willem Dafoe in the face. Have you ever noticed that? He kind of looks
That
like
was the
Willem
first
Dafoe.
thing we
like,
thought of
we were
when we
like,
saw
dude, that dude looks like Willem Dafoe, man. Can you see
right?
it? Can you get on board with
A
that?
little bit,
Yeah,
right?
now that I like imagine it, now I can't unsee it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to live with that fucker.
That's great.
wow.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, I can't. None of us can. It's just
Well, no.
permanently etched in the brain now. You just.
I mean, you know,
I
like,
picture him in Boondock Saints. Well, I picture Rodney as Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints all the time.
Oh,
Every time I
God.
see him, I just instantly think of Boondock Saints.
it was a firefight. Like, dude, why are you always
Symbolism.
crying? He's like, I'm just so happy.
Such a great movie, man.
Oh God.
I was so disappointed by the second Boondock Saints.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but like, I don't know. I guess you can't trump like that first one. It was just so
No,
awesome. you
yeah.
know?
I mean,
it wasn't bad. The second
I mean,
one.
that'd be like, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if like they try to make like a Fight Club 2.
right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I
you,
dig
you
what you're saying.
you can't do it.
No.
You know, like I don't know. I see that they got like this new Terminator movie coming out with
right.
what's her name?
I can't think of it.
Oh, geez, what's her name?
It'll pop into your head at some point.
Yeah. The key is to
Anyway,
stop thinking about it.
Linda Carter? No.
Oh, are you talking about?
Come on, she was like in like Terminator 2. She had the shotgun and she was like blowing
don't
him
know.
away and stuff.
No, I can see her
Anyway,
face,
like
but yeah.
anyway, it's her like
Okay, but
first
you-
return to the franchise in
cool.
in
See.
like 20 years or something.
Wow.
So, you know, that looks pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Didn't see any Arnold in the, you know, trailer,
right.
Interesting.
unfortunately.
Well, he got drop
Yeah.
kicked in the back. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, that little.
That was kind of crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I haven't heard
about
about
that?
this. No. What
Yeah,
happened?
it was like on like what was it, Twitter?
No, he was just like doing some kind of like interview. No, he was
No,
at
it
some
was-
kind of competition or something. I forget where he was.
It was a fundraiser.
Oh,
it was
right.
like a boys and girls like
Yeah,
fundraiser thing
something like
that
that.
like that he always does, and some wild crazy person came up and like
Literally drop kicked
Are you
like,
kidding me?
in the
Yeah.
back.
Just out of nowhere?
yeah, just out of
Holy
nowhere,
fuck.
just drop kicked Arnold.
Yeah,
and,
like he completely
and it-
unsuspecting and everything.
like
yeah.
it didn't hurt him or
Right.
anything like that. Like, you know, he just walked away. And,
Right.
You know, but it's Arnold.
That's
and he's also
nuts,
like
dude.
70. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
messed
And he
up.
could
he's like-
still probably whip the shit out of
yeah.
that dude.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, it's Arnold.
Right.
You know, like
If you're gonna pick a fight with
like,
somebody, yeah.
Fucking drop
You know,
kick the Terminator
that's-
in the back.
you know,
man.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
my
messed up.
childhood hero right there.
Right.
How dare you?
You did love those Terminator flicks as a kid, man.
Yeah.
I still do.
Oh, hell yeah. How
I
can you
still
not?
do.
You know what else you were totally into that you got me into was fucking RoboCop, man.
No, God.
That shit was great, dude. We had the RoboCop fucking figurines and shit.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I remember playing with the toy, but I don't think I ever saw the movie.
They were great.
No, I remember actually in Arizona with my biological dad.
Yeah.
That was the first R-rated movie that I ever watched.
No
was
shit.
the first RoboCop,
There
and
you go.
you know, being a little baby boy, you know,
Right.
still in a diaper, you know, hot as shit, you know, Arizona.
Billy's first word was RoboCop.
Yeah, it was RoboCop. No, I think it was fuck. Actually.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But no, I mean, just being like a little kid and just seeing like that initial scene where like he gets his hand blown away.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like the
I haven't
shotgun.
thought about this in
You're
so
forever
long.
scarred.
Like,
Forever scarred from that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, well, nothing can be worse than this.
Right.
There you go.
Start with the terrible, and then everything else looks a little bit better. Right?
Yeah. Hey.
That's right. Hey, scar 'em early. That
Yeah,
way,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, just scar me early.
It's the
and
old
you
shock
good.
therapy.
Yeah.
Got
Right. There
this.
you go. Oh God.
Just gonna desensitize him as an infant.
That's right. Exactly. The earliest possible. That's every modern kid now, though.
Yeah, pretty much,
With
man.
video games and
You're right.
whatnot. You know,
Yeah.
they're like 5, 6, 7 years old, blowing people away on whatever.
I don't know.
I mean, it's fictional, but
I mean, yeah, it is fictional, but I don't know. I feel like today's gamers, like the young gamers, you know, are all about their Minecraft and their
right.
and their Fortnite. Like,
These Fortnite,
Which I don't know anything
Minecrafting.
about. For
like I have no idea.
don't
Like
even know what
I
it
just
is.
know that like people do stupid dances from it. Like they do like that like scissor
The floss?
the floss
Oh,
thing.
boy.
Yeah, like
Wow.
like Alexi does it, and I'm just like, do you even know what that's from? And she was like, no.
Continues flossing.
Continues flossing, and I'm just like,
Oh, that's
like
great.
if there is a God, kill me. Well, you know.
Proceeds
Oh,
to
the
floss
floss.
away.
Yeah, she just flosses.
Floss the fuck on out of here, man.
Floss on, my friend.
That's great. Yeah, no, all those kids do that shit now, man.
Yeah, kids are weird. Like,
Yeah.
maybe, well, we were probably weird to
Well,
people
yeah,
who
I'm
were
sure.
adults when we were kids, but
I mean,
I don't know. I think
no, we
kids
were
are
cool.
weirder. Yeah, that's true.
We
Kids
were
today
cool.
are stranger than we were. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What did we do? Like watch Star Wars? And
Yeah, we just like fought each other with
Digimon
plastic
and
lightsabers.
music.
Digimon, holy shit. I forgot about that, too.
Oh, what about this one?
It was way better than fucking Pokemon.
What was the video game that Billy used to always play whenever we went to his house? It was like, it wasn't like Transformers, but it was like the other thing that was like Transformers. It was like Gundam Warriors or whatever. Gundam something. What is it?
Gundam Waltz.
Oh, there you go.
Dude,
Yeah.
that game was
Yeah.
great.
That's like the main memory I have of going to your house as a kid. It's just that game.
No, I actually tried to look that game up the other day, like to like buy like
Sure.
a hard copy of it.
Right.
Like back in the day, that was like a $50 game.
Right.
Now they want like $300 for it.
Oh,
no
dude,
shit,
those old
man.
games are
because
outrageous.
it's like, you know, vintage.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you
or
try to get,
whatever.
like,
The people
like-
who held onto that shit, man, yeah,
Smart
they're worth
move.
money.
Yeah.
Of course,
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah.
sell them if I had them. I
Well,
just,
yeah,
you
just
know.
play 'em.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I continuously play them and
Of course.
clean them up. And,
Hell yeah.
I mean, you know.
well, that's like, well, Smash Bros. Is like,
Yeah.
if you- like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like typically like the cheapest you're ever going to find that's like $50 to $75 at the
Right.
very least.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, and there's old Legend of Zelda games like Ocarina of Time,
Ocarina of
Majora's
Time.
Mask.
All those
that.
Yeah.
classics.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
that's-
worth money now.
Oh
It's
man,
cool.
it's insane. And like if you go to buy like even just like a VCR now,
No, yeah.
it's like $200-$300.
I know, right? Like
10
I
years
have-
ago, they were like 20.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes no sense
Yeah.
like because they're hard to find. Nobody makes them
Right.
anymore. So
Yeah.
Thank
now
you,
they're
hipsters.
collectible.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you got to go to like Richmond and like hang out with like a group
Right.
of hipsters. Just be like, hey man,
What's good?
What's good?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
You want to like chill on this porch over here?
It's like that scene in Ace Ventura. The password is New England clam chowder. Except for the password would be Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my
No, I
God.
think it would be hams nowadays.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. PBR is it's jumped in rank.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
know.
true. It's kind of it's too fancy for those
It's too
people
fancy.
now.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta like, you know, you can't be a hipster and, you know, buy, you know, a $6 6-pack, you know. You gotta,
That's true.
You gotta buy a 6-pack that costs you $2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, dude. Yes, Hams is king of the hipsters.
I don't know that good ass beer. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Good ass beer. That's what
Isn't
it's
that the
called.
one? It's like a plain can.
It's a
or something?
white can. It
Right,
says
right.
good ass beer. It's got a donkey with a halo over his head. Good ass beer. It is. It's like I don't know. It's like $2 for a 6-pack, literally.
Dude, that's good.
And it's fucking horrible. I hate it. I tried it one time, but I see people buying it by the case. Man, they'll just have
Of
like
course.
cases stacked up.
Why have you not introduced this to
Yeah,
me?
you're right. I'm gonna bring you one
That's
next
pretty
time I see you.
It's protecting personal insults. Yeah, that's messed up.
No, it is really cheap. I don't know if it's actually $2 for a 6-pack. I don't.
Yeah.
They don't sell them in 6-packs. You can only buy them in a case. That's the other crazy thing. They
Oh.
only sell them in a case.
the
man.
only way they
24
could possibly
that
make
sounds
money.
like Colt 45.
Oh,
like
Lord.
the
Yeah.
one and only time.
But it's not malt liquor though. It's actual beer. So
It's actual beer. It's actual beer.
Right. Good God.
That's awesome.
But speaking of hams, so Angie and I went to Portland for like our belated honeymoon,
Yeah.
and we had never been on a plane or anything like that before, and this was just last year,
Nice.
and there was a side of on the side of this building. It was like this massive building. Someone had painted a mural. It was just a Hams can. It was like
That's
it was
great.
like 35 feet tall. Like it was
That's
amazing. Yeah, it was
awesome.
sweet. I think I took a picture of it on my phone. I'll show you later. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was like land of the hipsters, and it was so perfect.
I mean, it is Portland.
Yeah, that's what I'm
mean-
saying. Again, it was so on brand. It was fantastic.
I'll
but-
be back in a minute. You guys carry on.
Oh, Lord. Get me some water while you're at
Alright,
it.
you got
I'm
it.
pretty thirsty.
Yeah, can you get me some water too?
Yeah, come
What
on,
you got
man.
there, boo boo?
Fucking water boy.
Brandon is the
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
H2O. Gatorade. Oh, I know how to fill the time. You probably don't know this. So speaking of water boy, okay. My 6th grade teacher, very interesting character. She was like the daughter of a missionary or something. I don't know. She was just like didn't know how to handle children at all, and we were terrible. You can, you can imagine me as a 6th grader.
Well, I mean, you hung out with me.
Yeah, well, I was like equally sarcastic, but as a 6th grader. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I mean, we just like she literally ran out of the room crying at the end of the day, every day, which I feel bad about now. But it's not like we were doing anything that bad. We were just
Right.
messing around. She just couldn't get a handle on us.
Right.
Anyway, so one day she tells us, she's like, "You guys ever heard of the movie Waterboy?" We're like, "Yeah, totally." And she's like, "I'm in that movie." And we're like, "What? What are you talking about?" She's like, "No, for real." So she's like, dim the lights and like put it in like the VHS, and she fast forwarded to the scene, and sure enough, so remember the scene when he's in the classroom and like right before he like tackles Colonel Sanders. Remember that?
Yeah.
So when he's sitting in the classroom, literally right behind him is my 6th grade teacher sitting in the classroom right behind him. And to this day, she's still in it. What happened was, I guess she went to that school, that college, wherever they filmed it, and she was like part of like the journalism like class or whatever. So she was there to like cover, what was going on. And they were like, "All right, everybody leave except for the extras, And she was like, being the journalist, was like, "I'm just going to sit down, and try to capture this." And then sure enough, Adam Sandler comes and sits right in front of her. So she's in the scene. So yeah, my 6th grade teacher is in Waterboy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty completely pointless
Yeah.
I mean-
fact that you now know. But
No, I mean, that's awesome.
yeah,
It's a great movie.
it's pretty hilarious.
Well, they, I don't know if you ever watched The Walking Dead.
Very little, but I have seen it.
Like, same, like, I've read the comics. Like, the comics are way better than the show.
Well,
but,
of course.
But all of that was actually filmed between like Stephen City and West Virginia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, I remember hearing
Yeah,
something
and
about
like
that.
they
yeah.
like I think it was like last year or whatever, like when they did the last season, like they had like an opening for like extras. Like you could like go and like be paid to be made
Yeah.
up as a zombie.
Wow.
And
That would
like,
be awesome.
like
Yeah.
I wish I had been hip
Be
to that,
zombie-like.
beforehand, so I could have gotten in there, man. How cool would that be?
Nah.
I mean, I just didn't have a ride. I'm not gonna
You should've
walk all
called me, man.
I'm not gonna walk all the way to West Virginia
Good
to be a
Lord.
zombie.
You finally get there, shootings over.
Somebody would kill you on the way, man.
Yeah, probably. We're like, oh my
Dangerous
god, would you
road.
look at that guy?
Just look at him.
Just look at him.
Would you just look at it? You know what I told him to do? I told him to look at it.
I told him to look at it.
I love
That
that.
dude was a genius. Ed Bassmaster.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
That
hilarious.
dude is pretty freaking funny. Thanks for the water, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem.
It's messed up.
You can have mine.
Oh, no, it's cool. You guys carry on. I'm going to go get some water.
All right, yeah, go do that. I totally forgot.
Billy's like,
Plus,
is it-
I had like 4 things in my hand, so I couldn't really.
He's like, is this a bit? They just like one guy walks out and then the other guy
That's
walks
right.
out. He's going to
Wait.
walk out next.
Wait, and so like, is it like my turn to
Yeah,
like walk
yeah, that's
out?
what happens.
Like I'm
That's
just gonna
how
like, excuse me, I'm gonna go smoke the cigarette.
I'm just gonna walk out. Oh man, but yeah. So, what do you think of all Randall's ink, man? Randall's got some pretty
I like
crazy
it,
tattoos
yeah.
going on now.
Yeah.
He's into the big, bold, traditional style, colorful tattoos and shit
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
that's awesome. Like
I totally dig them.
I appreciate the old style art. Of course, I think that's like the oldest style that I have on me is
The Grateful Dead.
is my bear.
Yeah.
But
Tattoos.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
You see this bad boy?
I did see that.
Chewbacca on the thigh.
Yep. If you're going to put Chewbacca on your body, the thigh is the best place to put it. That's what I say.
Why not?
Is that what you say?
It's a quote from me as of 30 seconds ago. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's like I just made a proclamation that I was going to get Chewbacca tattooed on my thigh, and it's like you can't say that and not do it. So
Yeah,
there
that's
you go.
kind of like a big deal.
You know what I mean? I was like, this is
Yeah.
going to happen. Everyone's like, yeah, right. And then the next day I was like, check it out. So yeah. There you
No
go.
turning back.
Yeah, once it's there, it's there.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, you can always get it if you don't like a tattoo, like later on in life.
True.
Like you can always get rid of it.
That's true. Yeah, everyone's
cover
like,
it
it's
up or
permanent.
laser it
but-
off.
Or cover it up or laser it off.
Yeah, they're not anymore, man. They're not permanent
You went through
anymore.
a little bit of the laser
Oh no,
stuff.
I did.
Wow,
Yeah, I had
please delve into that. I've
yeah,
never had
so
it.
that was nuts, man. Before I got this work done, like this my sleeve on my left arm and stuff. I had some tattoos there. You remember?
Yeah.
You remember when I got them? Probably. You were probably there, man.
I think I was.
I still have one of the old prison tattoos left, man, on my right.
I still got
forearm.
both of mine.
I know.
There you go.
But that's actually I'm going to get this lasered off too. So where I get all my tattoos done is Body Art in Berryville. Jason McCarty tats me up. He's a cool dude. Shout out Jason if you're listening out there, man. I'm gonna hit you up for some work here soon. But anyway. So they do the laser surgery there at the tattoo studio now. They do that at a lot of places, right? So you can go
Right.
in and get like literally while I was getting this arm done, he's like, "You want to go ahead and laser that one at the same time?" I'm like, "No, dude.
Sounds horrible.
Like,
I have enough going." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let me burn you and stab you at the same time.
But yeah, so it's a pretty crazy thing, man. I went in and got mine done. This has been years and years ago, but like, it's extremely painful. It doesn't last long though, but.
what's that? The lasering?
Yeah. So yeah, they have this big machine and they just hold this like crazy looking, I don't know, like gun over wherever the ink is, and so I guess the stuff just picks up on the metal inside your skin. Because I was like, well, how can you be so precise to only laser those parts of my skin? They're like, nah, just it automatically, just.
Like
reacts with this metal or whatever.
Like pulls the ink out of it.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's nuts, man. So they freaking. But yeah, so when they turn this thing on, like you see, like these, like it's almost like these arcs. It looks like a blue lightning bolt, kind of like this bright flash, and it just turns the tattooed skin completely white, like as if you got a really bad burn. You know what I mean?
Instantaneously
Like
burning
just
it, yeah.
totally swells up and turns white, and it's nasty, dude. It's all bloody. Like it's way worse than like the care for like a tattoo. Like
Sure.
because you have this horrible like
It's a literal burn.
yeah, man, it's rough. So it gets all bloody and swells up and nasty, but it does work. It didn't. These tattoos that I had on my left arm that I got lasered, it lightened them, but that was after like 4 treatments or more,
Right.
and it still didn't get rid of them. So some ink it just does not. Depending on how deep it was and how long it's been there, and there's a lot of variables there. But so I ended up just getting it light enough to be able to cover, and that's how I went with that. But
It's crazy.
but yeah, it's pretty wild. Tattooing in general is crazy,
It is.
I mean, who was it? Who was that girl's name back in the day?
Noelle, yeah. She was like that. She was like the tattoo chick, for like
she
a whole
was
group
like,
of people.
oh, you want a tattoo? And like, yeah.
Why not?
Damn her to hell.
Well, actually, that fire hall show was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. We got that was the thing, man. We'd go to like concerts or whatever and parties and just like
little punk rock shows.
get tattooed.
And Noelle would always be there and just like, she was. I don't know, like how would you describe her really? Like she was like the
she's a
chick.
difficult
She
one.
was the chick that you like if you needed some, you could get it from her.
Yeah, right. Sure. I got you.
like if you were feeling lonely,
Oh, God.
That's what he's talking about, not tattoos.
Yeah,
He's moved
right,
on.
not
He's
tattoos.
moved
No,
on to
no,
sex
I'm
now.
tracking with you.
yeah.
I'm tracking with
If
you.
you need some sex or tattoos, she would be there for
Yeah,
you.
she would hook you up and
Well,
No strings attached.
yeah,
she
no,
was just chill
yeah,
like that.
no, that was the
You'd just be
best
like,
part.
Let's just go.
That
cuddle
was the
up
best
over
part
here.
was
you go.
no strings attached. Like, like no, her boyfriend walked in on her and me like in the middle of the act at the fire hall.
That's crazy.
And
man.
like her boyfriend walks in and like I'm like sitting there mounting
Wait,
her.
so you banged her at the fire hall?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I forgot about that, dude.
And so her boyfriend
Well, yeah.
walked in and I was like, hey man, you want to come help? And he's just like shut the door.
So you're saying she was basically like the food truck of sex and tattoos, like there when
pretty
you
much.
need it, but
Yeah.
and then it goes away.
Yeah, then it goes
There
away.
you go.
Pull up at 11 a.m. promptly and serve you what you need and then be on your merry way.
10 minutes later you're done.
If that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Noelle.
Well, that sounds like an interesting.
Wonder whatever became of her.
I don't know.
She had to have just gone full gypsy or something, dude. You know what I mean?
I would think so.
Like, I could really see her
she
living the
was
gypsy
like
life.
had like that mentality too, you know, just like that free.
Go with the flow.
Very
man.
free spirited, as one would
That's
assume from
interesting.
what we just described about her.
what we just
Yes.
described of this woman.
That's true. A fair assumption.
What was
Yeah.
it? Didn't you go to a party with her, like up in PA?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, I
like
did.
you like
Yeah, in
you
Philly.
like poured your beer, like you put
Oh,
your
no,
beer.
I can tell you. I'll tell you this stuff.
Okay.
Oh God.
They had jungle juice, man. So yeah, I randomly went to PA,
As is always when you go to Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia. Yeah, I went to
It's
Philadelphia.
never
with, like,
predetermined.
Yeah, to see leftover crack, and this
Yeah.
bastard didn't
Yeah.
take me.
Yeah, well, it was a spur of the
Fuck
moment
you.
thing. Like,
I remember
all these
that.
dudes that I knew were just like, "Hey, we're going to see this band called Leftover Crack in Philly tonight. Are you coming or not?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How am I going to get there?" And they're like, "We're at the end of your driveway, bro." And so I literally just walked down, and they're there in a truck, and I jumped in, and we just went to Philly. And I'm like 15 years old at this point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so we go to Philly, man, and we see the show, and it was badass and everything. This one kid got like killed, I'm pretty sure, by a bouncer because he tried to climb on stage, and the bouncer just like knocked him the fuck out
Just
and
wasn't
dragged him.
having it.
But yeah, so now we got back to the house, and somebody's house. I don't even know where the hell it was. It was some really sketchy, like, you know, a bunch of row houses in like this shitty part of Philadelphia, and like it was rough, dude. We actually walked to a McDonald's drive-thru and walked through the drive-thru, and they served us that night. And
Nice. Very nice.
wasted. But yeah, no, I was like, so they tell me I was at the top of the stairs, and I had
This is the story.
a cup of jungle juice in my hand. I screamed something that was, you know,
Probably
couldn't
an
understand
obscenity.
it. Yeah,
Well, most
nobody,
likely.
yeah, something like that. I proceeded to take the cup, turn it upside down, and put it in my pocket. It was full of jungle juice, so I soaked my pants, somehow crammed it into my pocket, and then tried to walk down the stairs. Took one step and just flipped and fell all the way down the stairs. Landed at the bottom of the stairs, and that's where I remained until I regained consciousness. Good times.
Man. After holstering your beer. Yeah, that's good. That's
The
good.
jungle juice.
Or
Yeah.
jungle juice, rather. Yeah.
God only knows what was in that shit.
Oh, God.
Oh man, you were in PA, probably like
Who knows, man?
failing.
Everclear and
I wouldn't
Oh,
doubt it.
goodness.
151 and I don't know, all the really bad liquors.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
All wrapped up into one
yeah.
horrible
Well, have you
cocktail.
seen that new thing where like it's tequila and vodka like
No.
mixed together?
Oh,
That
boy.
sounds bad.
It's a terrible
And
idea.
there was a meme about it, and it said screw deleting certain things, just wipe the whole motherboard.
That's awesome,
Oh,
dude.
God.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's rough.
Yeah, no,
My goodness.
tequila's bad. No, actually, vodka's worse.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like
I
I
always wake up with a head injury every time I drink that.
yeah, I always wake up regretting something when I drink vodka. I'm just like, yeah, no, that was bad.
It's just so smooth, man.
You know.
It sounds smooth.
Yeah, we had some pretty wild party years, man. We were crazy as youth,
Yeah.
as youths,
Youths.
Youths.
as youngins.
Youngins.
Street youths.
Ewans.
Yep.
We were Ewans.
That's right.
We still are, I think.
I just turned 30.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome! Oh yeah.
I didn't even realize that. That's crazy.
Yep, that is wild.
I
Dude.
am old.
Wow. That's insane.
I'm trailing behind you, man. 28.
I'll be
then you're
26.
behind me.
Oh, boo-hoo, 28.
Yeah, right.
I mean, actually, I was surprised that I lived through 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I always thought, like, that would be, like
Right.
I would just party too hard or something stupid would
It
happen.
really is a miracle that we're all sitting here, all three of us.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It is nothing
Yeah.
short of a miracle that we're all
Yeah.
currently alive.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're
So
here
far,
talking
nothing
about-
has killed you.
Not
so
yet,
far,
I know.
nothing has
Yeah,
killed
right.
me.
Between
We're-
the three of us,
we're
like you
invincible at
said.
this point, man.
Good Lord.
So
yeah.
far, nobody has killed you.
Yeah,
That's true. That's very true.
Then again, now he's broadcasting his voice to millions, so yeah, he just increases chances a lot.
That's right.
But,
Yeah,
That's
well,
correct.
well, now he would be a martyr.
Oh,
So,
that's true.
you
For the
know.
cause of grime.
Yeah, the cause of crime.
That's great.
It's not the crime, it's the grind.
That's right.
That's right. That's what we're all about here, man.
Don't do the grime if you can't do the time. That's what I've always said.
Don't do the time if you
Is
can't
that
do the
what you've
grind.
always said, Randall?
As of
30
2 seconds
seconds ago.
As of
Yes.
2 seconds ago.
I'm one for what I call instantaneous quotes, which is I just say something and then tell you I just said it. So, yeah.
Like I always say.
Oh, God. I went to Philly. So, speaking of Philly, I went there one time so far. And I saw Norma Jean there, actually. And it was,
nice.
it was sick. It was like their 10-year anniversary of their Redeemer album, which was, it was awesome. But, anyway, I got a cheesesteak at like 2 a.m. and it was really good. And yeah, anyway, that's my Philly story. Super boring.
Well,
But,
you know, Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was good. I was really scared for a minute there, just because where we were was pretty scary looking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just, this venue, and that was not that great of a venue. You know what I mean? And it was,
right.
yeah, it was. I mean, there was like, like barbed wire fence around like the parking area where we were at and everything. And yeah, I was a little scared, but we survived.
You got to keep the crackheads out.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah,
know,
that's a
I
good
mean,
point.
Like, they are everywhere
Oh, yeah.
in Philly.
No doubt, man.
Like, I mean, it's just crazy, like, going across country, like, 4 times, in Philly and, Ohio and Illinois and all that sort of stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
that whole area up there is rough, man. Chicago,
rough.
Detroit,
Yeah, like-
in Ohio too, man. Like Cincinnati area, man.
Yeah.
That whole
Right.
area is rough.
No,
rough,
but
man.
I will say Cincinnati has really good freaking coffee.
Really.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Like,
cool.
you would not, like,
Right.
expect it at all, but,
Right.
like, they have amazing coffee there.
Huh,
Right
wow.
on.
And,
There you
Remember
go.
that next time I'm passing through.
I mean, it's only like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
from here.
like you
Yeah,
go
that's
like
true.
the Pennsylvania Turnpike,
Mm-hmm.
like through Maryland and
Like up and around
this-
that
yeah.
way. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a drive, and it's actually pretty beautiful.
Mhm.
Like if you like that industrial,
Right.
look, steam vents and
Right.
Huh.
stuff like that. Like,
Interesting. Yes.
it's a neat ride,
Huh.
for sure.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
some family in Ohio, but it's like the country part.
Yeah, like Gallipolis. is the
Gallipolis,
name of the area. I
that's
don't
it.
know.
That's the name of the town, anyway.
Well, actually, I don't think we do anymore. I think they all migrated to West Virginia, man. That's what I was told. That like all our Ohio family migrated to West Virginia.
Well,
They're the majority of them.
Yeah, the majority, but some are still in Ohio.
Got a few stragglers up there.
Yeah, that's right.
What part of the family is that?
That's on our mom's side.
Oh, that's on
Yes.
your mom's
Yes.
side.
So it's my mom's dad's. Well, it's her uncle basically,
Okay.
and his whole family lives
Yeah.
over there.
Oh,
so
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yep. So it's pretty interesting.
We got family spread out all over the
Yeah.
place, man.
Mhm.
Midwest, up that way, down south,
Yeah, you
You
got
know.
some in Georgia, right?
Florida,
Florida,
and
Alabama.
Alabama, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Yes,
of our
indeed.
relatives are coming up
Next week.
next week from Florida, so
Yeah.
that'll be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
See them for a while.
That'll be
Hopefully,
fun.
get our uncle Jack on the podcast, man.
Oh,
That
we're
guy's a
hoping.
tripped out soul.
Oh, he's
He's
wild.
a tripped out.
He's
Oh,
wild,
man,
dude.
he's nuts. Yeah, we want to get him on there. We get about, I don't know, a liter of vodka in him and get him right here.
Yeah,
man.
he
Yeah.
is a, he has a Polish descent, so there you go.
He's a
Yeah.
Polski.
Yep, that's it. Oh my goodness.
Nostrovia.
He was given the nickname by his grandchildren, Rotten Tooth Jack, which is even funny. His teeth are not rotten
No,
at
I
all,
don't-
but they call
we're
him
not
Rotten
sure what
Tooth
Does
happened
he
there.
just like?
He gives off that vibe.
Yeah. Does he like just like talk a bunch of shit?
Oh, yeah, he
Oh
does.
yeah, he's wild.
We have a lot of theories about this man. Hopefully, we're going to get to the bottom of them
Yeah.
next week.
Yes,
Stay
tune in.
tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
If we can wrestle him in here, we'll get him
It's
on.
gonna be
No,
sort
wait,
of-
hold on. I want to be here for this.
Yeah,
I just
you're
want
more than
I just
welcome.
want to witness it.
It'd be great.
just throw like a T-bone steak and like a bottle of vodka in the there. He goes chasing after
Go get him,
it.
boy. Go get him.
Let him off the leash. Yeah. Slam the door lock at you. Oh god.
Like the doors,
Let
like.
me out. Let me out. Oh my god. Wow.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, man. So what's your take on switching topics here to a serious topic? No, I'm just kidding. It's not serious at all. But okay, well, me and you talk about it enough. Bill, what's your what's your opinion on the afterlife? What do you think, man? When you leave this meat suit, what happens, man?
Do you leave the meat suit?
Do you leave the meat suit?
You know, I don't know. I was raised, you know, fairly Catholic my entire life, and you know, becoming a teenager and learning, you know, other things, other mediums, other experiences, you know, reincarnation and stuff like that. And I'd like to think that, you know, if you did a good enough job, like here and like this time,
right,
that like, you know, like your aura, like your spirit, or you know, like
your being,
yes.
You know,
what
your
makes
being,
you basically.
Yeah, well, it makes you. You know, would, you know, come down and like enter something else,
right?
Whether it be, you know, another human, or you know, an animal, or
so reincarnation. Basically.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Basically, our soul, if you want to call it that, is infinite. Or basically,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
eternal, rather.
Eternal.
Yeah, we refer to it typically on the show as, you know, I like to refer to it as your being, right?
Yeah.
Your soul, you know, that exists, what I believe, in the fifth dimension, right? You know, that voice in your head, your consciousness, your mind,
Yeah,
your being. Yep.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not a religious person at all,
Right.
like
Neither am I.
anymore.
Sure.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, I hate religion, man.
I mean, I appreciate it. You know, if that's what makes somebody happy and you know, gives them purpose, you know, or whatever, then good for you.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
You know, it's what makes you happy. It's what makes you happy. And,
Yep.
like you're gonna do it no matter what, regardless. But I'd say reincarnation. I'd say you come back, because I mean, I look at, like, I used to have this cat, Kelly, the calico.
Yeah.
And, you know, she lived to 19 years old.
Damn.
Wow.
And she passed away, and, you know, Brown passed away, and that was hard. And so a couple years ago, for my birthday, Christy came home and was like, "Here's a cat for you."
Nice.
And it was like another calico female, and and like, just, you know, like everything that Scarlet does, the new cat, mirrors everything that Kelly did.
That's crazy.
You know, hunting and sadistic hunter. That's like, she really is, like,
Wow.
just like, you know, like the most ruthless killer. But you know, but she's lovey, and you know, comes up and snuggles and everything like that. And
right.
like, I just look at Scarlet and I'm just like, wow, that's like a mirror image.
That's crazy, man.
You know,
Could be.
You know, so like,
could be a reincarnation of you from a previous life.
But then there'd be, but then that would mean there's more than one of you.
Exactly.
There could be infinite
I mean,
amounts
you believe
of
in the
you.
multiverse theory, right?
Multiverse.
You know,
An infinite amount of universes.
One of you finally found its way to get back to
Yes.
this universe, and now it's in your cat.
well, that guy made a wrong fucking turn.
There you go. Go back to where you came, son. Yes.
Nope, don't come here. It's not worth
turn
it.
back.
That's hilarious.
Well, you still can. Yeah. Oh, God. No, that's something we never talked about.
What's that?
That'd be insane.
What?
Multiple yous. Well, the multiverse, I guess, would imply multiple versions of the same person.
Well, I mean, if you're a good person here, don't you think that there is an equally evil person?
Right.
Yeah,
The exact
definitely
opposite.
could be.
Yeah.
There is polarity in everything, right? So
That's
there
true.
has to
I
be.
mean, you know, you
That's
look
true.
at Superman and Bizarro.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you need? Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
The proof is in the pudding.
what do you think about like doppelgangers, like the doppelganger theory? You know, where everybody has like an
At least
exact
one
copy
person, yeah.
somewhere on the world.
That looks just like you.
I believe it. I mean,
So is that like your evil twin then, man? Is he like he looks exactly like you, but he's the exact opposite in personality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Most people perceive themselves as good, though, so they would assume you were the evil
right,
twin.
right.
Exactly.
So,
That's
yeah,
what they-
so like I would perceive myself as ultimate good, and
Right.
and
So would the twin.
and so would the twin. He
Right.
would perceive himself as ultimate good.
Thus,
but,
you would perceive each other as the ultimate evil.
Exactly.
well, you know,
universe
that's
would
he would
explode.
assume.
that's paradoxical, and you
Yes,
can't
it
do
is.
that.
Well, that's the thing. And then you ultimately have to battle each other, and then whichever one wins gets to move on to the next round.
Right.
Word.
Well, I mean, you know, like, you know, when you think about like something like grander, like God,
Sure.
right? Like, you know, if God is all good,
Mhm.
he cannot be all powerful, and
Right.
if God is all powerful, he cannot be all good, and God is tribal.
Hmm.
God does pick sides. I
Mhm.
mean,
Right,
at
no, that's
least
That's a good point.
as it's perceived, as he is perceived in
Right.
scripture and books and
Right,
stuff
right,
like
right.
that. You know.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about. You know, the whole idea, I mean, like me and Randall discussed before, like we definitely believe that there's, you know, some sort of omnipotent being that there's a creator that created all this. Like neither him nor I believe that, you know, it was just cosmic chance that all this was created, because there's just so much evidence to disprove that idea. But you know, there's a lot of interesting things to think about when you start talking about that kind of stuff, and some things that I've always wondered. So like, this is just my personal stuff, right? So like, when I sit down and I think about stuff like that, and I think about there being a God, right, that created us, and there's so many unanswered questions, obviously, to go along with that we'll never know the answer to, and that's what makes it interesting to ponder, right?
Correct.
But like, you know, I think about things like, you know, what's you think about like people getting sickness and stuff like that, like, and you think about what were some interesting things we were talking about this the other day. You remember we were talking.
I don't, but
Well, it is you.
You put him on the
I
spot.
was going
Yeah,
to say,
it is
I
you.
don't remember anything. Yes, we've talked about this before. Yeah, I mean, as far as what are we talking about here? Sickness. What is sickness? Why does it happen to us? Is that
Well,
where we're
it's just
going,
like
or?
trying to understand why things in this world happen the way that they do. Like if there's an omnipotent being that created all of us and everything like that, and,
Right.
you know, so well, here's the thing, like, so if he already knows if he's not truly omnipotent, he knows all, then he already knows what's going to happen.
Yes.
Right. He knows the end game. He already knows if he created everything.
So
He knows.
does that
He
mean
knows
that
what you're
he
going to do.
knows his own ending?
Exactly. Or if he's omnipotent, I guess that he has no ending. He is eternal, right? But it's like, you know, well, what's the point, you know, of him
Do we have
creating
free
us?
will?
Well, not necessarily do we have free will.
Oh, okay.
I believe we have free will, but
well, of course we have free will. I mean, that's like the whole reason that, you know, God casts Satan
Yeah,
down.
exactly. 'cause
so
he
we have
chose
free, we have
Yeah.
free
to
will,
fight him or whatever,
right?
yeah.
But he already knows, right?
Right.
According to the, you know, the idea, right?
Sure.
Like he already knows what you're going to do. So what's the point of him doing anything at all, right? Why make a bunch of people give him free will, but you already know the outcome. You already know what's going to happen at the end. Like, you know, that being said, he's going to know whether or not you know, are going to do the right thing. You're going to turn out good. You're going to turn out evil. He created you, right?
Sure.
So he's the great programmer. So it's I just you know, I often think about that, and I'm like, well, why would you do something
what's
like
the point?
that?
Yeah.
What's the point of that? Are we just like a, you know?
Are we just a bunch of ants in an ant
Exactly,
farm?
right.
And he's
Yeah, let's just see
like,
what happens.
you know,
Yeah.
like looking through the glass,
Right.
you know, like,
Yeah, it's just like for fun, like entertainment, you know.
yeah.
I don't know. And that makes me feel uneasy when I think about that. Right?
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
so the guy, yeah, young man found dead inside the road. Yes, 2 days later.
Damn. Nobody went looking.
That's the best
no.
part. That's the best part.
Hell no.
Well, he found no purpose in life, so we found no purpose in searching for him. So, but anyway, but going down that rabbit trail, so the guy, I forget his name, Scott something, but it's the dude who wrote the created the Dilbert cartoon.
Oh.
Scott Adams or
the Dilbert
Adams.
we all know and love.
Yeah, I can't. Right. The Great Dilbert.
The Great Dilbert.
In the sky.
Just have like a mural of him. It's like when you're done praying to that thing.
Right. The Dilbert Shrine. I'll have to show it to you later. It's pretty dope. But anyway, so he wrote. Apparently, he's a super interesting dude. The guy who wrote it, not Dilbert. Well, maybe he is too. But the guy who
wrote Dilbert.
Oh God.
I mean, that would make him omnipotent, right? Like, I'm gonna write my own story.
He created himself. Yeah.
Big dilly dilly.
Oh God.
Today we Dilberted it.
we did.
We delved into Dilbert.
What he said.
But anyway, so the guy who created the Dilbert cartoon wrote a book called God's Debris, and like wherein he like attempts to answer, or at least poses those sorts of questions,
right?
Where it's like the great paradoxes of like, can God create like an object that's too heavy for him to lift, things like that, you know,
right?
What I mean?
Yeah,
and that sort of stuff. I've never actually read it. I've flipped through it before, but like on the back of it, it's like basically like telling you like, people under the age of like 14 shouldn't read this, I guess, because it's like it would just like blow your mind too much. Again, that makes me want to read it because it seems super interesting.
That sounds great.
But a teacher of mine had it in his classroom and was like, you should read that. And I never did, unfortunately, but there's still time. So yeah. But apparently it asks those sorts of questions that you're saying.
That's cool. Yeah, I would definitely like to read that.
Something you'd be interested in. Yeah. But anyway, back to Dilbert.
Anyway, enough of this serious shit. Let's get back to Dilbert.
Let's get back to what's really important.
Yeah, those were some pretty interesting comics. I remember
I really actually don't remember what the plot of the Dilbert, like, you know, because every cartoon has
just like a office.
Yeah,
like,
he's like an office worker or whatever, and just office humor. I guess.
Like he had like the weird like tie that like that like always like went off to the side or something like that. Like it always like swooshed off to the side.
Yes, I remember that now.
A swooshing tie.
Yeah, a swooshing tie.
Classic, popular between 83 and 85. Yes. I don't know. Also, well, speaking of the 80s, I don't know. There were a lot of interesting fashion choices in the 80s, such as the square bottom tie. Yeah. Have you ever seen the square bottom tie?
Somebody took a pair of scissors and just cut the end of your tie off. Just stopped. Have you ever seen that, man?
No, I have not seen that.
They're popular in the 80s. Just comes to a square, just a flat bottom.
That and then the half shirts for men.
The belly shirt for men.
There's pictures of our dad wearing a half shirt, a yellow half shirt.
There is several pictures of my dad, I believe, with a mesh belly shirt.
A mesh half shirt.
Like he'd always wear it when we like go like boating up the river. You know,
is hilarious.
Like, this is boat shirt. And it was just so funny.
From when he briefly worked for Chippendales.
I mean, he probably could have. He probably would have loved that job. Actually,
he was just in it for the mesh belly shirt. Really.
Yeah, he was just in it for the belly shirt.
Oh God,
too much.
That sounds fantastic.
He wasn't in it for the lonely housewives.
Yeah, no,
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he would be, but
caught me the sweet belly shirt. You know? Yeah. It's mesh. Oh man, that's fantastic. Oh, speaking of mesh, remember like it was either like the late 90s or like early 2000s when like the mesh like tank top was super in. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Like, I just remember people wearing a lot of mesh clothing at one point.
I actually have a mesh Batman.
There you go.
You know, beater.
White beater.
Yeah, like a jersey
beater,
sort of thing. Yeah, I got
thing.
you.
You know,
dude. Another funny thing.
Super comfy.
You remember when like cargo shorts hit the scene hard? Like, everybody wore cargo
everybody was just
shorts.
about like, I got all these pockets.
How much can I carry at once?
Well, me and Brandon, it was how much can we steal? Walking to 7-Eleven.
Do you realize how much weed we can have on our person at any given moment?
I'm pretty sure cops invented cargo shorts just to bust people.
Right.
I'm sure they got annoyed with them because think about how many pockets they had to search in one frisk. You know, it takes them like 30 minutes to frisk one
cargo
pant wearing.
They gotta untie the other.
Fucking
don't tempt me with a good time. Right?
God. I got one more. I got one more pocket for you.
Yeah,
buddy.
hold on.
Yeah. I got an inside pocket for you, brother.
No, I remember.
You might want to move your shoes, bro.
No, what was it? I had like this like little party get together like down at the river.
Yeah.
A couple like way long ago. and,
Yeah.
I was trying to hit up Jill, that girl Jill,
Oh.
Jill Lewis.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, I was trying to hit up her, and like I had like all this weed, and like Walter was there, and Dr. John, and Levi, and Lucy, and just like
whole
the
crew.
like the
All
old
these crazy
like the
people.
old crew,
Yeah.
you know, and like we were just hanging out, and all of a sudden Jason Poe rolls up, you know, on
yeah,
us
yeah.
and spots me, and
He was a
you know, he just wanted,
notorious police officer in the area.
searching, you know, now he's running for sheriff.
Yeah, see, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
And so he was searching me, and I think I was actually wearing these same jeans.
Most likely.
I think I
believe it.
was. And he was searching me, and like Jill was like, you know, staring at me. She was like had like this like terrified look on her face. And,
Right.
And he Jason Poe spoke up, and he was like, "What? You're looking at him like he's got a pound of dope on him."
Right.
And I looked over at Jason Poe, and I was like, "Where would I hide it?"
Right.
Like you literally see legs, thighs,
Right.
ass, crotch.
Right,
like,
dude.
There's nowhere else.
yeah, like where would I hide this pound of pot? Like
Right.
you know. And he was just being
Already ate it, fam.
already ate it.
Ironically, it was in the cowboy hat you were wearing at that point.
Ironically, I already smoked it.
There you go,
Because
yeah.
I burned my evidence.
Yeah, smart move. Smart move. Did you know that Jill Lewis's mom was our bus driver at SVCA?
Really?
Yep.
No
That's
way.
Yep. That's where we met her. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay, so yeah,
Remember that?
Joe Lewis's mother was our bus driver.
Yes, she
for,
was.
for some time.
Poor
she
lady.
Had
Poor us.
Poor
Oh,
you.
yeah. Well, Jill, so the bus driver had a daughter named Jill. We were just talking about, and then she had a son. I don't know his name,
Which talking about the youngest one.
but I know his alias. He went by he went by Tomato Head. That was
He
what
didn't
that
go
was his
by
nickname.
It didn't go by
it was
him.
given to
I'm pretty
him.
sure he still does.
It was bestowed upon him.
Yeah.
Because for no apparent reason, this kid he sat at the front of the bus every day, right?
Yes.
He would
He was like 4 or 5.
yeah,
little,
so he didn't
little
go to
kid.
school, but he would turn around and scream at the top of his lungs for like a minute and a half straight. His face would turn blood red, and he had a buzz cut and a really round head, hence why he got the name Tomato Head. His head looked like a tomato.
No, but the thing is, he would be like, you never knew where he was. So he would always be like, his mom was like, stay in the seat, you know? He never did. So like, you just like feel this thing brush past your foot. Like, what the hell? And, like, and then like, so like, it'd be like the snake scurrying past
goddamn
you.
Sam
Yeah,
Squanch.
exactly.
He would just pop up at random
And
seats,
so his mom
man.
would just like
fucking
like
whack-a-mole.
look back. Whack-a-mole. Like he would realize that he wasn't in the seat. She'd be like looking back. She'd scream his name. And so, but wherever he was, he would just pop up in that
Brandon
seat.
Michael Lewis.
That was his name. So
Lewis.
so she'd scream his name, and he'd jump up and say, "Ma'am," you know, like saying, "Ma'am," say, "Yes, ma'am." He'd jump up and scream, "Ma'am," at the top of his lungs, like you said, for at least
great.
a minute and 28 seconds. Yes, it was hilarious.
Fantastic.
Oh Lord,
Yep.
great times on the
Good
bus.
time.
Oh my gosh.
But anywho, we got a cookout that we're missing out on. We need to go eat. I'm starving my ass off. So,
Yes.
Bill, once again, thanks for coming
Yeah,
and being on the show, man.
absolutely.
It's great to have you. Full of good laughs. So,
Indeed.
I don't think I've laughed as much in a long time.
well,
Yeah.
that makes us glad to hear it. Man.
Indeed.
And so before we end this episode, I'd like to remind you guys out there listening that if you enjoy our show, please give us a review and rate the show on iTunes. It helps us out big time.
Absolutely. We appreciate those of you who have been listening, and we hope you enjoy the content as much as we enjoy bringing it to you.
Hey, if you made it this far, thanks so much for tuning in. We really hope you enjoyed the show.
Stay grimy.